Hello guys, welcome to a new video, and in this new video we are going to be configuring zone-based firewall. And if you do not know what a zone-based firewall is, please go ahead to my YouTube channel and go ahead and watch this video on describing the zone-based firewall, zone to zone, and also the self zone. So if you do not know what zone-based firewall is, go ahead and watch that video where I explain to you guys what it is. So I'm going to briefly describe you what it is. So a zone-based firewall, it is a stateful firewall. And what a stateful firewall means? Well, what it means is that whenever there is traffic from the inside to the outside, it adds that traffic into a state table. So whenever it recognizes that from the inside is trying to go into the outside, when that outside network is trying to come back into the inside zone, it's going to allow that traffic to go back into the inside zone without blocking it. Okay, but if the outside zone is trying to um, initiate traffic into the inside zone and it's not allowed, it's going to just reject that traffic. And the opposite of the zone-based firewall is a stateless firewall, which means that you configure an access rule in the inside network, and whenever you reach out to the outside network, what's going to happen is you are going to be able to reach out to the outside network, but then coming back in, it won't be able to get into the inside network unless you configure a access rule. So stateless are a bunch of access rules or ACLs that you have to configure or access list that you have to configure into a router. And a zone-based firewall is a stateful that you only need to configure one side, and then it's going to allow that traffic if it is initiated from the inside network. And also zone-based firewall, what it does is it turns your router into a firewall. So if you have a small business and you only have a router, or you only have the money to buy a router, what you could do is you could buy a really good router, and then you can turn that router into a firewall if you don't have that money to get a firewall from Cisco. So you can go ahead and purchase a good router and configure that zone-based firewall and do the same thing or almost the same thing that a firewall could do. So with that being said, let's go ahead and configure that. But before we do that, from the toolbox, and this toolbox that I'm using, you can get it from um, GNS3 Marketplace, and it's called the Networkers Toolkit. And I'm using it because this appliance contains server-side software for secondary management of network devices such as HTTP, FTP, TFTP, syslog, DHCP, and SNMP server. And another good thing that I could say about the zone-based firewall is that whenever you configure a whenever you configure a class maps, what it's going to do is it doesn't go by port number, because whenever you configure by port number, it's when you are using an access list, which is a stateless. So whenever you allow traffic, let's say for FTP, which is the one that we're going to be using. So if you're configuring for FTP, a stateless access, a stateless firewall, you're going to have to allow traffic on port 21, which is FTP, to go out to the outside, and then from the outside, you need to configure also port 21 to come back in. What happened is that FTP does not really use this port 21. What it does is it dynamically assigns port numbers, and that could cause trouble because it could initiate traffic from port 21 over here, but then from the server, it's going to reply with a dynamic port number, which is now going to be 21, and that's going to be a trouble for stateless. But with stateful, it doesn't really look at the port number. What it looks at is at the FTP, which is the layer 7, and if it recognizes that it is FTP, it's going to allow that traffic in, even though it is not port 21. So that's that's why zone-based firewall is a lot better than stateless. So let's go ahead and try to ping 192.168.1.2, which is the Windows device. See if we have connection. We do. And let's go ahead and ping the router in the inside. And we do. So we have a connection between the inside and the outside right now because we have not configured that zone-based firewall. So from the outside router, which is this one right here, let's go ahead and configure that. So the first thing that you need to do is configure a class map. And this class map, what it's going to do is going to classify or identify the traffic um, that you want to match. So from right here, what we're going to be matching is going to be ICMP and FTP to allow to go in. So let's go ahead and identify that traffic that we want to allow to come in. So you do traffic inspect, and you want to match any traffic coming in, and we're going to call this my class map, just like that. Press enter, and then from here you want to match, and I don't want to match ICMP for right now. I just want to match HTTP, and you want to do protocol because it is a protocol that we're matching, and I also want to match protocol FTP. There we go. So when that is done, what you need to do now you need to create a policy map, and the policy map calls on a specific class map, which is going to be this my class map, and then it's going to apply a policy to and then specify the policy action. So we're going to assign a class map to the class policy, and then we're going to tell it what we want to do with that class map. So let's go ahead and do a policy map, type inspect, and then we have to go ahead and name it. And this one is going to be called my policy map. And then from here, like we said, we need to go ahead and add that class type inspect. And what do we want to inspect? We want to inspect this one. And this policy map is in matching protocol HTTP and protocol FTP for now. So we do that. And then from here, we want to tell what the action that we want to do, which is inspect. So now we do an exit and exit again. And then after you do that, what we need to do, we need to go ahead and create the zone. And we need to do zone security. It's going to be called inside. And then we need to go ahead and exit and do another security zone, which is going to be called outside. There we go. And then after that, we need to create the zone pair, which specify the zones and the direction from where to where. And the way that you do that, you need to do a zone pair security. And I want to go from in to out. And the source is going to be the inside network. And the destination is going to be the outside network. There we go. And then from here, we want to tell the zone pair which policy I want to apply. And I want to apply my policy map, which matches my class map. And the action that is going to be taken is going to be to inspect. So let's go ahead and do that. You do a service policy, type inspect, and I want to inspect my policy map. There we go. So then after we do that, we need to go ahead and apply the zone security to the interfaces. So let's go ahead and go to interface gigabit 00, which is going to be the zone member security of inside. And you can add a description. This zone or this interface belongs to the inside zone. Okay, and then you go into gigabit 01, which is outside, and you want to do a zone member security outside. And you can do say a description. This zone belongs, or this interface belongs to the outside zone. So there it is. So that's that. It has been configured. So now let's see if from the router I'm able to ping 192.168.2.3, which is the IP address of the two box. And as you can see, we are not able to reach it. And we're not able to reach that because we did not tell the zone-based firewall or the class map to match ICMP. So for us to be able to ping this two box, we need to go ahead and configure that. So let's go ahead and do that. Config T, and what you need to do, let's see if we find it, and it's this one right here. You can just go ahead and copy this, and as you can see, we only told that class map to match HTTP and FTP and not ICMP. So you need to go ahead and do that. Match protocol ICMP. Save it, and now let's go ahead and try to ping. And as you can see, after I allow that traffic, after I match that traffic, now we are able to ping the toolbox, which is really cool, guys. Really, really cool. So now, one of the things that I want to do is that I want to copy um, my running config into the toolbox, which has an FTP server. And before we do that, we need to configure the FTP server. So if we do IP FTP, username is going to be GNS3, and IP FTP, password, actually, the username is going to be root, and the IP FTP password is going to be GNS3. Gonna end it, save it. So now for that, what we want to do is we want to copy the running config into FTP, and the host is 192.168.2.3, which is the IP address of the toolbox right here. And it's going to go into the insider. It's going to be saved in as insider dash config. And before we do that, let's go ahead and see. So you can see that it's going to be empty where we're going to put it. So for FTP, it's going to be put over here into the root one. So let's go ahead and copy this and go into the toolbox. And if we do a CD root, you're going to see, if we do an ls, you're going to see that it's empty. But when we copy this, I'm running config FTP, as you can see, it was copied into the 192.168.2.3. If you go into the toolbox and if you do an ls again, you can see now that the insider config, it is there. And also I want to copy my startup configuration to FTP 192.168.2.3. Okay, so now it's saved it as insider config. If you do an ls, it is the same one. So it is insider config and insider config for both of them. So that is fine. As you can see, it is working, and the traffic is allowed because we matched it. We matched it in the class map to allow FTP. If we go into router one, actually, and you can see right here that the protocol FTP was a match. So since it is a match, it is allowing traffic inside to the outside and from the outside to the inside. So it is working the way we wanted it. So that is great. So one other thing that you could do is if you go into the Windows device, let's see, let's open this leaf pad. This is where I have everything. So www, the files located are going to be right here. So if we go into the toolbox and if we do cd to here, ls, you're going to see that you have an indexed HTML. So if we do nano index HTML, you're going to see that it has an HTML. And I want to just go ahead and change the title to be ccdtt.com. So we can just go ahead and tell it welcome to ccdtt.com. Control X, save it. So now from the Windows device, let's see if we can navigate into that website. So the Windows device is right here. Let's go ahead and open this one right here, and we need to go to 192.168.1 or that 2.3. And as you can see, it looks like it did not save it, the index HTML. But as you can see, we were able to get into this. So the files are located at this right here. So you can see we are able to load that um, website. But if we go into the router, config T, and we do a class map, and we do no match protocol HTTP because we want to block it. And if we go ahead back to it, 192.168.2.3, you're going to see that the traffic is being blocked right now. So you can do a match HTTP protocol, or not HTTP protocol, HTTP, and then you open your web browser again, go into 192.168.2.3. You can see now that the traffic has been allowed, but you can see that it says welcome, and I forgot an E to add an E. So let's see if we can change this networkers toolkit. So from the toolbox, let's go ahead and change this website a little bit. Let's go ahead and nano index, and as you can see, I forgot the E, so let's go ahead and add the E for the title, and then this H1 right here, you want to tell it to welcome to ccdtt.com, which is the name of my website. X, save it. Now let's go ahead and go back to it, just so you guys can see that I'm not lying to you guys. There we go. And as you can see, it says welcome to ccdtt.com. And I forgot something. Oh, I did not put a dot. I put this right here instead of a dot. Let's go ahead and X, save it, and let's go ahead and reload it. And you can see that it has changed. So as you can see, we have configured the zone-based firewall using a Cisco router. And like I said before, if you do not have if you're a small business, if you don't have the money to configure or to buy a firewall, what you could do is you can buy a powerful router that supports ZBF, and you can configure the zone-based firewall and just configure that router as a firewall. So this is it for this video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you guys enjoyed this video, go ahead and follow me on Twitter at CCNA Daily Tips. And if you don't have a Twitter account, hey, go ahead and create a Twitter account and then follow me on Twitter. And also go ahead and subscribe to my channel where I have a bunch of videos on the CCNA security, CCNA, um, CC, and on the CCN2, and also on the CCNP. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one, guys. Bye bye.